Happy Saturday, members of the Altcoin Buzz Army. Hope you're having a great weekend so far. As you can see here, the market seems to be in a very good mood. We're up 6.9%. It's been a very strong week in terms of numbers. We'll be discussing, of course, the biggest gainers, not the least of which is Ethereum. Major news regarding the London hard fork upgrade, which is now transitioning Ethereum into really a deflationary state. We'll be discussing that. Likely you've heard about it unless you've been living under a rock. We'll also be discussing some partner and channel updates. We'll be talking about Zookeeper. We'll be talking about Cartesi. We're discussing B21. We're also providing you guys with some updates about Tomochain. As you guys have seen, we're totally rebranding. We're offering new content. If you haven't checked out our last couple of videos, we did a deep dive on Efinity. That's the new token by Enjin that's going to revolutionize or further revolutionize really the NFT space. We also have a new Altcoin Buzz spotlight interview format hosted by none other than Shashwat Gupta, aka Shash. Check out his latest on human protocol. We'll link to all of that, of course, in the description below. So be sure to stay with us, guys, for all of that and more in today's video. Be sure as well to like and subscribe to Altcoin Buzz. All right, so I'd like to pay my respects first and foremost to the really strong performers this last week. Bitcoin up actually just marginally, even though we're at 43.5K right now. We kind of came down during the week and then have now come back up. So we're only up 3.9%, but Ethereum, to no one's surprise. Actually, that's not true. Some people have been surprised because they were suggesting that this was going to be a kind of buy the rumors, sell the news kind of scenario. And Ethereum is just continuing to perform, which is great, up 25.6% on the week. Cardano up a solid 12.7%. Dogecoin, not my favorite personally, but Dogecoin still up. It has to be noted, 15.0%. Polkadot up 32.9%. And going down the list here, we have some pretty strong performers in the form of Solana, SOL, 20.9% this last week. Internet Computer, 43.4%, and many others that are in the multiple double-digit percentage gains. So it's been a very strong week, and it feels like it's the first, maybe not the first, but we're kind of getting back on track. It's one of the first weeks where we can really enjoy these kinds of numbers. It feels good. Taking a look at the fear and greed sentiment just recently, yesterday we were at 52. Last week we were at actually also in greedy territory, but last month, so just last month in July, we were in extreme fear. We're now in greed, not in extreme greed territory, but greed at 69. That's out of 100. You can always track over time what the sentiment looks like. As you can see here, we're on a pretty, I don't know, well, moderate, let's call it a moderate uptick after some stability just in that fear zone, averaging at about 20 over the course of last month in July. So things are looking pretty good right now. I don't want to spend too much time on Ethereum because I do feel like this is almost redundant. Likely you guys already know about this, but it's so positive and they deserve Ethereum our respect. And in my opinion, at least, I've been a longtime devotee of Ethereum. And this is going to be the kind of thing that, although, we are in the new phase of the London hard fork upgrade, I think this is going to be the kind of thing that's going to play out with time. And we'll see some lagging indicators as to the success of Ethereum. But that being said, we still see some very positive metrics already. So Ethereum founder Vitalik Buterin breaks down why the London hard fork is so important for the future of Ether. You guys can take a look at this. It's being covered everywhere, not only on the crypto outlets, but a lot of the mainstream outlets are championing this development, which is great to see. On CNBC.com, Ethereum just activated a major change called the London hard fork. Here's why it's a big deal. On Bloomberg as well, Ethereum founder Vitalik Buterin says upgrade sets stage for energy usage cut. So if you're totally unfamiliar with these headlines, Ethereum is slowly transitioning to 2.0. It's slowly transitioning from proof of work to proof of stake, which seems to be all the rage these days. It also means that Ethereum is going to become increasingly deflationary because Ether specifically is going to be burned every time a transaction is made or performed on the Ethereum blockchain. So preliminary results as per Zero Hedge here, and they kind of have that libertarian mindset, so they dabble in cryptocurrency sometimes. They note that almost 10,000 ETH have been burned already. This just from a few minutes ago at the time of this recording. So Saturday morning, the 7th of October. And they actually sort of philosophize a little bit. Imagine currency in circulation actively shrinking and being rewarded for it. Really, that's the appeal of Bitcoin. What has always made Bitcoin so popular, not that it's deflationary per se, but the scarcity argument, right? As you can see, based on the circulating supply metrics, there will only ever be 21 million Bitcoin. This is what makes, at least in a traditional sense, or in a vacuum, theoretically, this is what makes precious metals valuable and sought after, right? The scarcity argument. But Bitcoin will hit 21 million. That hard cap of 21 million isn't really going to move. And yes, you can argue that a whole bunch of BTC have been lost over the years. What's interesting about Ethereum is that ETH will specifically be decreasing in terms of its total supply. Once the burning mechanism once we reach equilibrium, that is the suggestion that, once we settle into a rhythm, there's going to be an increasingly decreasing supply of Ethereum, if that makes sense. So, hey, this is awesome. Kudos to Vitalik. Kudos to all the Ethereum holders out there in the Altcoin Buzz army. If you've been holding your Ether maybe for a long time, like maybe years, as I've been doing, if you've been staking it, then it's a great way to earn passive income. Ethereum officially above $3,000 at the time of this London hard fork unveiling. Let me know, guys, in the comments below where you think the price is going to go, when you think Ether will hit a new all-time high. If you guys haven't checked out our previous coverage of Zookeeper, this is a really cool initiative that's all about NFTs. It's all about collecting. And of course, they do it with flair. They do it in a way that can't really be done in any sense other than the blockchain sense, right? This is what makes it so special, that, the technology really does lend itself towards some of these, I guess, these hobbies that we enjoy sort of in traditional spaces. I used to grow up, I still collect rarely, but I still collect comic books. I grew up with comic books, and that was my, collectible, if you will. If you're into that kind of stuff, as I am, you're going to want to check out Zookeeper here on altcoinbuzz.io. The ZooRena update is something that you should now consider. So Zookeeper momentum builds as launch nears for NFT battle game ZooRena. So aiming to put the fun back into farming, Zookeeper allows users to earn dual yield farming tokens. Those are Zoo, Z-O-O, and WASP, W-A-S-P. Again, we covered this in our overview video. Go back and check that out if you're unfamiliar with some of this terminology. While boosting the native Zoo rewards using NFTs, these Zoo tokens can be staked to earn even more compounding gains, since the platform offers low-risk staking pools with instant deposits and withdrawals. And in addition to this, a new community-voted token can be earned each month. So the platform is now preparing for what's being called the first interactive battle, and it's happening tomorrow, Sunday, the 8th of August at 1400. That's 2 p.m. UTC, as part of the new recently unlocked feature game called ZooRena. As per Zookeeper official here, ZooRena sneak peek, here's what you can expect. We can't wait to unleash our latest Zookeeper development on you. Gamified NFTs, DeFi, clans, referees, battles, lotteries. The Zoo gets ready for this spectacle. So keep your eyes on that, guys. If you're watching this video on Saturday, you still have about hopefully 24 hours or so, but be sure to keep an eye on this. It's dropping again on Sunday, the 8th of August. Okay, and now for something a little bit different. We have this update, which really speaks to, I guess, what's possible in blockchain. And, if you're like myself, not a programmer, not a coder, not a computer scientist, but an enthusiast, a tech enthusiast, let's call it. But I lack some of those harder technical skills. Here's an example of how you can develop your own games, your own apps, your own systems, all kinds of things without ever laying down a single code in Solidity. And you can do this with all kinds of different applications and games. You can do this with Cartesi specifically. So here on altcoinbuzz.io, can blockchain help this 88-year-old grandpa win more money in poker? The short answer is yes. You're going to have to check out the article in full to get the gist of it. But, it's a much more accessible space than it used to be. And again, you can create platforms and games and systems and all kinds of things, even if you don't necessarily have the coding acumen. And I'm speaking as a layperson because I don't have that coding acumen. I don't have those technical skills. And presumably neither does this grandfather, not to be condescending, but it's sort of a story that testifies to how it's possible in this space. You don't have to know Solidity to be able to create things, which is great. Cartesi also recently held a panel discussion all around the theme of disrupting gaming with blockchain. So you can check that out. This is actually just a list of some of their panelists. This is already passed, unfortunately, but you can still check out the discussion as well as the recent Twitter activity. What's really interesting about Cartesi is that they've also been listed here on Revolut recently, which is a digital bank that you've likely heard of. They're sort of from that family of digital banks. So there's Revolut, there's TransferWise, actually formerly TransferWise. They're now known as Wise, N26. There are a couple of others. This is a pretty big deal. Cartesi, CTSI tokens now on Revolut. Popular financial super app Revolut adds support for Cartesi CTSI tokens. And Revolut is just one of these businesses, one of these models that's really taking off. I think last year, Revolut was valued at something like $5, maybe $6 billion. And then over the course of, we all know what happened in 2020 and so far in 2021, I don't have to spell it out, but Revolut went from a valuation of $5-6 billion to $33 billion. It is unbelievable what these guys are doing. The pace at which they're growing and interest in their platforms is accelerating. So this is awesome for Cartesi CTSI. Check out the write-up on altcoinbuzz.io. And check it out, guys. B21 is integrating with MATIC with this really big news right here. So for the first time, MATIC can be spent for making retail purchases at 45 million merchants worldwide. 45 million. And you can also cash out MATIC, that's Polygon, of course, ticker MATIC, MATIC, via ATM withdrawals using B21 crypto cards, which of course is very good news for both our friends MATIC as well as B21. So that's awesome all around. Kudos to both parties. Tomochain finally is in the news. TOMO Master DAO, the governance for grants on the Tomochain network. Okay, so in a nutshell here, we're talking about governance grants. That means that we have grants that are going to go to projects and community initiatives relating to Tomochain's network. So you, therefore, as a user, can decide who gets finance. You can check out more info here on medium.com/Tomochain. As always, guys, we'll link to this in the description below. There you have it, members of the Altcoin Buzz Army. A green Saturday. It's always nice to have a green market that we can look upon on a weekend, Saturday, Sunday, whatever. Now up 7.1% on the day. You know, I think in large part the idea was that, you know, collectively speaking, a lot of analysts felt that if we get above 42K for Bitcoin, like that's really an important resistance marker that if we turn into support, really changes the conversation. It's still early. This just happened like a few hours ago in terms of breaching that resistance. Let's see if it holds, but for the time being, indications, metrics, projections are all kind of positive as long as all of this holds. Let me know, guys, in the comments below what you're most excited about. It comes as no surprise. I am most excited about Ethereum, but overall, just a great day in the market. So share with us your enthusiasm, if you will, in the comments below. As always, guys, check out our website, altcoinbuzz.io. Like, subscribe, share, and hit the bell, of course, to receive notifications if you enjoyed today's video. None of this ever is financial advice, but hey, I wish you all the very best of luck if you do choose to invest. Stay safe, members of the Altcoin Buzz Army, and as always, we do hope to see you again soon in our next video. Take care.